Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. Today's video, I'm going to talk about some of my recommendations for what to farm as you progress through Honkai Star Rail. So I've already reached Trailblaze level 44. A lot of you guys will probably ask how I'm Trailblaze level 44 already. Well, it's because I'm a filthy dirty whale and I've done max refreshes every single day since release. So do keep that in mind. I do this so I can get ahead of most players and then provide them advice with the retrospect of my experience and what I've done and gone through and what I've learned. So let's just take a quick look at my account as well, just to show you guys where I'm at and where hopefully you guys can eventually get to with, following some of my footsteps and, just going through this game. So we can see here, I did manage to clear all Forgotten Hall 1 through 15, not a problem. 3-starring all of them. Memory of Chaos though, this is when things start getting a bit dicey, and we can see here I only managed to 1-star this one. Now at this point my DPS is just way too low to actually complete it in 28 cycles. So we're gonna go all the way through from Trailblaze level 0 to probably, I'll probably stop around Trailblaze level 60. Starting off with Trailblaze level 0 through 20, honestly, just do whatever. The main thing though for 0 to 20 is that, you just want to do side quests and quests, and just, if you do have to log off before hitting 20, just spend a little bit of your stamina to make sure that you're not overcapping your stamina. And before you know it, do a couple more story quests or whatever, and you will be at Trailblaze level 20. Trailblaze level 20 to 30 is where things get a bit more interesting. You have more options to farm besides just this golden calyx. Trace materials become available. Starting off, you can get a whole bunch of free trace materials from the shop as well as from various overworld shops. You should farm just enough of these to level cap your traces for your main team of 4 to 5 characters. Also, you should bring whatever your main team is up to pretty much their level cap. You can save a couple levels off of their level cap. Like for example, your level cap is going to be level 40 at this point. You can level them up to 38 out of 40. That way you still get EXP from killing monsters, which will save you a bit of EXP depending on how much you decide to grind. But either way, even if you level cap them, it's honestly not that big of a deal. So that's all the obvious stuff. But what is something actually that's surprisingly, in my opinion, worth your time at this stage in the game? Now, farming anything in this game at this point, the stamina efficiency in comparison to when you level up to Trailblaze 40 or 50 is really poor. In my opinion, one of the most impactful things that you can do for your immediate power level, and will also help you actually farm more efficiently slightly in the future, is to farm World 3 Level 1 in the Forgotten, or in the Simulated Universe. And what do you get here? You will actually get 2 guaranteed, I believe guaranteed, purple artifact drops, 4-star artifact drops from the relics. Sorry, I keep calling them artifacts. That's a bad habit from Genshin Impact. But yeah, you get your 4-star relics from this. And even to this day at Trailblaze level 44, I'm still using a lot of these 4-star relics that I farmed from, well, Trailblaze level 20 to 30. And this will provide you a really big power boost to your account, because having these 2-piece set bonuses and also getting the proper elemental ball, for example, quantum damage for Sele, and etc., will provide you a very large boost to your power level. And it's not even stamina inefficient in comparison, because if you're farming the other stamina options like EXP books or credits or whatever, these are all at severely diminished rates, because from 20 to 30 you're only able to farm these things, or at best maybe one of these every 6 runs or something, right? You don't get a whole lot of these. I recommend getting a reasonable 2-piece set of these things on most of your characters. That way you will have the power necessary to actually progress through the game to make future farming a bit more efficient, which we'll talk about in the Trailblaze section 30 to 40. Now, in case you are stuck here at the Trailblaze 20 to 30 range, don't forget to do your Echo of War as well. This will be important because you have very limited amounts of these materials. So if you are nearing Sunday, the end of the week, where this thing resets, do your 3 runs, grab these materials, even if you aren't at Trailblaze level 30 yet, assuming you've unlocked this. I think you unlocked this around Trailblaze 25 to 28. So yeah, there's a small range where you won't be able to get to Trailblaze 30 before, so yeah, if you can't get to Trailblaze 30 by the end of the week, just do these real quick. The next breakpoint is Trailblaze 30 to 40, where we unlock the next equilibrium level, and we unlock the Stagnant Shadow. When you do this, you actually need to do these to level break your characters from 40 to 50. So make sure you do that and level break all the relevant characters. As usual, once you hit a new equilibrium level, farm a bit of trace materials to bring up your relevant team up to max trace levels. Why am I not mentioning farming these EXP books and credits as well as the light cone EXP material? It's because for free-to-plays even, you will get a ton of these things and most likely more than enough for your main cast of 4 to 5 characters, even up until Trailblaze level 40, at least if you only focus on 4 to 5 characters, which is fine at this stage in the game. Farm these only on an as-needed basis, so if you are short on EXP books, credits, or Lycone EXP, just farm them on an as-needed basis. We also unlock the Cavern of Corrosion, but we're only able to farm 4 stars and 3 stars at this point in the game, and honestly, I don't recommend farming these because just playing through the story and stuff, you get a lot of 4-star relics just by playing through, the third world of this game. These relics will start dropping like candy with 4 stars, and you will be able to gear up your team with enough 4-star relics at this stage just by playing the story. So I don't recommend farming these specifically. However, there is something you can farm that's actually really worth your stamina at this stage in the game, and that is Worlds 5 and 6, because Worlds 5 and 6 in the simulated universe, even at difficulty 1, they will drop 5-star relics, as we can see here. This is difficulty 1, which you can unlock very, very quickly if you're able to complete Worlds 1 through 4. And in particular, World 6 has 2 really good set pieces. It has the 2-piece defense set piece, and it has the 2-piece crit rate set piece, both of which are very powerful. World 5's pieces aren't as good in my opinion with effect hit rate as well as crit damage, but they're still decent enough. However, I personally recommend if you can push yourself to World 6, which I did, you are able to then farm these 2 pieces as 5-star relics. And you can't start farming 5-star relics otherwise until you are at Trailblaze level 40. So you're actually farming at Trailblaze level 40 levels of stamina efficiency if you are able to farm World 6's 5-star relics. And these pieces are actually really good. So I'll show you a couple sets that I managed to farm prior to hitting Trailblaze level 40. Just by doing that, I managed to farm these 2 5-star defense pieces for my Fire Trailblazer, and these are really nice because, yeah, now she has a ton of extra defense thanks to that. And I also managed to farm this physical DPS set for Clara. I know this attack piece isn't very good, but this physical damage sphere is pretty solid, all things considered, especially for this stage in the game. I mean, obviously you want double crit eventually, but for now, this is better than, I could hope for just by farming a bit prior to Trailblaze level 40, and I actually haven't farmed it ever since then. So this was very worth my time to get those 5-star relics for both my Trailblazer as well as my Clara. This isn't going to be a guide on how to clear the simulated universe, but I will give a couple quick tips. In particular, Worlds 4 and 5 are important to clear. World 3's, most people will be able to clear it, but a pretty much foolproof way to actually clear Worlds 4 and 5 is to level up Fire Trailblazer as well as Natasha. Natasha, we'll talk about her a bit more in World 5, but if you level up these 2 characters and in particular stack a good amount of defense, even on 4-star relic pieces for your Fire Trailblazer, you will be pretty much invincible if you pick the path of preservation right here. Because now, after a whole bunch of shield stacking and all this stuff, you're pretty much invincible. And at that point, it's a battle of attrition. In particular, with healing and shield, you'll be able to slowly battle through your way through these bosses as long as you don't die with the proper simulated universe buffs. Now, World 5 is a bit trickier because we run into, I believe, yes, this boss fight. So this boss fight, the reason why Natasha is so good is because she can cleanse a debuff off of a debuffed character, and the debuffs that this boss applies onto you are very, very powerful. For example, they will basically possess you and have you attack your own team. So if she does that to your DPS character, you're in for a lot of hurt. But with Natasha's skill, you can cleanse that consistently, and therefore you remove one of the most dangerous mechanics from this boss. So I highly recommend Trailblazer and Natasha will be able to carry you through 4 and 5, especially with the path of preservation, in order to just slowly whittle down your enemies just by literally never dying with these 2 characters. So yeah, that's how you can actually get past Worlds 4 farm 5 to actually farm World 6, which is incredibly stamina efficient at this stage in the game. Remember, we're still talking Trailblaze level 30 to 40, and you can farm some endgame relics with these two pieces in particular. Prior to hitting Trailblaze level 40, you can start preparing for that by farming some additional stagnant shadows. So you'll need like, I think 5 or 7 or whatever for certain characters to break them from 50 to 60, just double check. So that way when you hit Trailblaze level 40, you can limit break them. Now we've reached Trailblaze level 40 to 50. What should you farm at this point? Honestly, you're going to be stuck here for a very long time. Just bring up the relevant 5 to 8 characters that you want to level up at this point. Level up their traces as usual. And at this point, you might need to start farming a little bit more in terms of credits and EXP books. That's fine because this is much more stamina efficient to start farming these things. In particular, you get these big EXP books. You get these big Lycone EXP materials as well. Again, just farm these on an as-needed basis. Same with trace materials. Now from 40 to 50, I get almost one of these every single run, every single 10 stamina run. So, you know, compared to just getting like 2 of these green ones or whatever at Trailblaze level 20 to 30, obviously the efficiency is magnitudes better. That's why I have not really recommend stashing up on these in comparison. Now though, you unlock these relic farms, which you're going to be stuck here for a long time. I recommend farming the proper relic set for your main DPS character, and you know, you're going to get some off pieces with whatever like this, right? I have some of these off pieces that I am using on my team, which is fine, right? That's fine for now because your supports don't really need to be built that well, but your DPS characters need to do more damage to actually clear the Forgotten Hall in a reasonable amount of time. I'll show you guys what artifacts I managed to farm by spending all my stamina potions. So also real quick is that you just save your stamina potions for farming 5-star relics, in my opinion. So you can start burning some stamina potions if you manage to get to World 6 on these, because these will last you through the end game, right? These are both great sets that are best in slot for the Fire Trailblazer in particular, or other shielders for this one. And finally, you know, this is a pretty solid DPS set. Not necessarily best in slot for a whole bunch of characters, but it's still just going to be an extremely good set in general. At Trailblaze level 40, this is what I managed to get going from roughly 40 to 44, primarily farming relics for Sele. I managed to get, you know, very mediocre helmet, very not good gloves, an absolutely usable crit rate jacket, and finally I got speed boots. I did just get attack boots as well, but I haven't managed to level it up yet. But you know, there's a discussion as to whether speed or attack boots are better on Sele. And I'm still using the 4-star quantum sphere that I got from farming from Trailblaze level 20 to 30. So yeah, you can see that even these 4-star ones are still valuable, at least in this stage of the game. And you'll replace it, of course, eventually with a 5-star quantum one, but you know, that's going to take some time. And finally, I did get this recently too. So after farming, you know, a reasonable, like usable 4-piece set, you should start farming the Simulated Universe 3, because these two set pieces, the Space Sailing Station as well as the Fleet of the Ageless, these are super universal on your entire account. You can slap this on every support pretty much, and you know, buff your team by 8% per support that's wearing it. And you can also provide a ton of attack substats for your main DPS with this. So you're farming both for your supports and for your main DPS by farming World 3. So I do highly recommend this, as this will give you a very nice boost to your account once you're able to farm these. After that, it's Trailblaze level 50 to 60. And I had some experience with this in the closed beta. Just like in Genshin Impact, the true end game of this game, you're going to be spending most of your resources in just farming relics to try to get double crits on all the relevant stat pieces for your DPS characters, and just farming whatever for your supports and stuff like that. So it's going to be some time before we get there. But yeah, the end game is going to be just an artifact relic grind session for reals, my guys, my friends. That's all it's going to be at the end. So yeah. Let me know what you think about my advice. Of course, do whatever you feel like is necessary for your account. Everyone's experience is different. Everyone's priorities are different. This is just what I did and what I personally recommend. That some of these things might be a little less obvious, like the clearing the simulated universe a bit before ahead of schedule to have a bit more optimized farming for relics and stuff. And if you have tips for your fellow Trailblazers, leave those down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Went to Lose, signing out.